What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the latest episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast, episode 395, coming to you live from Center Bonstead, New Hampshire. It's the podcast where we talk barbecue and a lot of other topics that you normally talk around the pit. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope and pray everyone is safe out there with the storms and the weather and the frigid temperatures and the absolute craziness that's been going on the past few days. So I hope everyone stayed safe. Hope everyone is doing well. And, once again, thank you all for taking the time to tune in and join me as we talk all things barbecue and I guess escape reality for a few moments. But let's get into it. Tonight's episode brought to you by Uncle Steve Shake. What can I say? Uncle Steve, an amazing guy, will give you the shirt off his back. Started out just playing with seasonings for the house and slowly turned it into fundraisers for the schools and then turned it into a business. He went from 3 original flavors to now 19 amazing
Wow.
flavors. Also, the sauce with no name. So 20 SKUs altogether. And he prides himself in always small batch. If you were to place an order today, it's being mixed tomorrow. And so when you receive it on your doorstep, it is the absolute freshest it can be. It doesn't have stuff hanging around on shelves for weeks and months at a time. Always small batch, always quality, always pride on freshness. He wears all the hats. He's mixing the shake, bottling, labeling, packaging, shipping. He's answering the phone calls. He's answering the emails. He might even call you or email you if he has a question about your order because he wants your order to be absolutely perfect. If you have a question on some of the flavors, he'll have a conversation with you, explaining each one, how to use each one, and working their flavor profiles out. Check him out at UncleSteve'sShake.com. Follow along on Facebook at Uncle Steve's Shake Nation. Uncle Steve Shake, shake some on everything. Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the diamond of Royce City, Texas. Gabriel and his crew do an amazing job day in, day out. The protein selection is incredible. Always fresh. You need a certain thickness cut of anything, he's got you covered. Are you looking for something he might not have? Gabriel will work with you to get it in to make your recipes become a reality. Fresh produce brought in daily. For all us comp guys and backyarders, he's got us covered. Multiple lines of rubs, seasonings, sauces, injections, marinades, including the Joe's Meat Market house line of seasonings. Now carrying smoky wood products, split chips, chunks, pellets, and charcoal. And while you're there, are you feeling a little hungry? He's got you covered too. Gabriel's mom is behind the counter whipping up some of the freshest cuisine out there. So grab a plate, grab a bowl, sit down, meet a new friend, talk to the boys, and enjoy this world of barbecue we live in and make a new friend for life. So if you're ever in the Royce City area, check them out. Joe's Meat Market. Tell them I sent you. And remember, hashtag Joe's Meat Market for the win. All right, all right. I know Daddy Dutch was first in Tom's Food Factory. What's happening? Dave LeConte, how did the chili cook-off go there, brother? Matt Pereira, hello. Pat Cullen, what's happening? Big Rome, what's up, brother? Hope everything down in Texas is going well. There's Uncle Steve. Yes, you did. You missed yourself. There you go. But better late than never, brother. Better late than never. It's cold weather down here, brother. I got plenty of feet of snow I can lend you if you want. But guys, let's get into it tonight. I'm very excited. Uh, this gentleman has been on my guest list for quite a while, and I was able to get in touch and get it done. Um, if you know him from the catering business out in the Midwest, in the Jacksonville, Illinois area, the owner of Twyford BBQ, also the co-host of the Cue the Mic podcast, weekly podcast, incredible information. And Randy, I have a new one for you.
All
I
right.
don't think you've ever used it, so feel free.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for the evening, the debonair,
Debonair.
Mr.
No, I
Randy
haven't used
Twyford.
that. No, I haven't used that debonair. I usually use just overly handsome, And I picked that up off of I listen to a lot of farm reports, farm markets and stuff with the local radio station, and it's the Successful Farming Network. And they have this guy and these two guys, and they do a radio show all day talking to traders and producers and markets and everything. And the guy, kind of the straight man for him, always introduces himself as the ultimately handsome or something like that. And that I listened to that and picked that up, so.
Yeah, no, it's always a kick to hear when you introduce yourself on the
Or how
show
I
with a
make up
little.
some word for it
That's
on the
right.
fly.
That's right. And we'll get into some of that stuff because there's a wonderful hashtag that I swear to God needs to be made into a T-shirt, Randy. T-shirt, hat, koozie, the old hashtag. Damn it, Randy.
Well, that's in the process. Emma's working on that, and we probably will start getting some of that stuff out. We just got to get the shipping and everything lined out. But yeah, damn it, Randy! If I've heard that once, I've heard it 1,000 times.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But Randy, like I said before we were on here, thank you so much for taking the
You
time to
betcha.
join me.
Happy to be here.
We're gonna have a great conversation. So thank you so much. So for anybody out there who might not know who you are, first off, you guys must live under a rock. Nothing against you, but hey, it is what it is. But Randy, can you please introduce yourself? Fill everybody in, who you are, what you do, and kind of how you got into
Sure,
barbecue in general.
sure. I started out. Everybody asked me, did I learn to cook from my mom? And I kind of did, but my mom worked a job where she didn't get off work till 7 o'clock, and I was at home at that time. And so it was just dad and I, and one of my sisters would come over every now and then, and her kids. And so we had to fix something for supper because God forbid if we had to wait on mom to get home at 7 and have her fix it because the shit would hit the fan, So we, I started cooking, and I kind of felt like the least mess that I made was on the grill. So we started grilling out in the garage, and every night I was kind of in charge of supper and fixing stuff on the grill. And so that we did that for a while, for years. And then, of course, on Sunday dinners, and, I would fix ribs and stuff like that for Sunday lunch, and when everybody would be over and stuff. So, but then we got to doing competition cooking. We had never done, my wife and I, Marla, which is partners with everything we do here. We got to talking about doing competition cooking. We'd see it there was at that point, and that was back in 2007 is when we went to the first barbecue class. And there was not very much stuff on TV about competition barbecue cooking or any of that stuff, just a little bit. And so that's when, and I can't remember what the name of the thing on the internet, the barbecue forum. The barbecue forum was up and going good, and I got to following stuff on there and getting ideas. And boy, when you think back and about what all came off of that barbecue forum years ago, and the people that were involved in that, you know, on there, it's truly amazing when you think back on it. So I got into that, and they come up with a Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, was going to have a class in Effingham, Illinois, which wasn't too far from us, about an hour and a half from us. So I told Marlon, let's load up and go down there and learn about this barbecue competition stuff. We had no idea what we were doing. We just knew we had to have a smoker and probably an easy up and a truck. And God forbid, I wish those days were back, you know. So we went to this class and didn't know anybody down there. And in that class was that's where we met Darren and Sherry Worth. They were taking the class also at the same time. And then there was also Rod Gray was there. Out of Wisconsin. I can't think of his name. There's a lot of people that Chad Hayden, Podge, that won the Jack Daniels a few years ago. He was in it. Scotty Johnson was there, won the Jack, and it was in it. He was in the class also. So, I mean, there was a lot of people that went on to become pretty significant cooks and individuals in the industry. And so we took the class, and so, all right. And then there was a guy, his name was Dave Stamper. A lot of people call him Uncle Dave. And if there's somebody that probably deserved to be in the KCBS Hall of Fame, it was Old Dave. That's what they call him, was Old Dave. Because he took and he helped so many teams, you know, somebody like ourselves, we didn't know anything about it. And he'd done a few contests and stuff. And so he says, well, the only way you guys are going to learn how to do it is to go to a contest. So we went to a contest down in southern Missouri and parked right next to Dave. And when we showed up, I always tell the joke that we had a little pickup and we looked like the Clampetts, you know, with all their shit piled on their truck and stuff. We had stuff piled all over that truck. And it was one of those deals. When we got down there, Old Dave said, stand back when he takes the bungee cord, the strap off, because things are just going to fly. And that was about right. I mean, we had everything under the sun in there, and slept in the tent, slept in the truck, you know, and we were cooking overnight. I think we were cooking on WSMs, had 3 WSMs and cooked on those. And that was our first contest. And the rest is history. One year, when we were really hardcore cooking KCBS, we cooked 27 contests one year. Wow. And that we did a lot of double headers and stuff like that. And then one year we were third place team of the year in brisket and the second place team of the year in chicken. So over the years, we've done pretty well. We never won any of the big ones, but we were usually in the hunt, you know, and stuff. But the biggest thing of the whole thing was the friendships and relationships we made by doing those contests, you know. Just one name pops into my head, Phil Hopkins of Smoking Guns. You know, we got to become, through the contest, got to become good friends with Phil. And, you know, if something, I needed something from Phil right now, I know I could call him and he'd take care of me, and vice versa. So we started doing the barbecue contest, and I don't know how many trailers. Let's see. We started out with a pickup, and then we had a camper, got rid of it, and then we had then we went to a racing trailer, a 38-foot racing trailer with sleeping quarters in the front. And we had that for several years pretty well. Oh, and then we had another camper, a 5th-wheel camper with a toy hauler on it. And we run the hell out of that thing. And we found out that those campers aren't made for barbecue contests, especially if you're going to run them up and down the road a lot, because the weight. We busted an axle on it and had to leave it down in Tennessee to get fixed. So we were coming back the next weekend to the contest. So we had the smaller camper. Then we got the 5th wheel with a toy hauler on it and the slide outs on it. And then I think that was after that after we tore that one up, we got into the a racing trailer, and we ran that one. It held up good, except for we had to put a steel plate in the back of it because we were cooking on an old hickory at the time, and Ultra Q. No, not the Ultra Q. What's the other? CTO. We were cooking on a CTO, and it would bounce. We had it setting on the axles, and it would bounce, and it was bouncing through the holes and putting holes in the floor. So we had to get a steel plate and put in there and set it on a steel plate so it wouldn't go all the way down through the axles and stuff, you know. And so we did that, and then in 2015. And in the meantime, I was working for a paint company, Valspar Paints, out of Minneapolis, and I was working a lot on the farm account down here, and then I got transferred over to working with Lowe's, and I was a training manager with Lowe's and covered from Ohio west. So typically, I would get on a plane Sunday night or Monday morning and get home Thursday. I went 3 weeks in a row of not sleeping in my bed at home because I would come home Sunday night and I had a complete set of clothes, different sets of clothes, come home Sunday night, get my clean clothes out, go to St. Louis, catch a plane and be gone. And then come home Thursday afternoon, evening. And then we'd load up and go to a contest Thursday night, Friday morning, usually Thursday night, and sleep in the trailer at a truck stop or Walmart. You know, and so we did that, and then in 2015 or 2008, when when did the stock market and all that crash? That was 2015, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Around
right?
Yeah, around then. That's when the world came to an end for us, or at least we thought it did. And no, it didn't. 2015 is when we started. Yeah. So it was about 2014, 15, when the stock market crashed and all the businesses thought they were going to go bankrupt and stuff. Well, Valspar decided to get rid of some of the training managers on the Lowe's account, and I was one of them. And so I'd been there 15 years, and they're like, "Here's your 401k, enjoy yourself," you know. And so it was like, what are we going to do now? So I had a couple interviews set up, and I was going to be getting right back into doing what I was going to do. Been doing traveling all the time, going to covering the country and working with Lowe's on different like hardware accounts and stuff, hardware companies and stuff like that. So at that point, Darren had been in operation up in Des Moines, and we kept, of course, and still good, close. Well, we were still doing some contests at the same time. And so Darren's like, "Why don't you open up a catering company?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know fiddly fuck about running a catering company." He goes, "Well, I've been doing it a year, and I'll help you." And he goes, "Maybe you ought to try a food truck since you're out," because we literally are out in a cornfield.
Okay.
We're out. Our place is out in the middle of nowhere, and which makes it nice. You don't have zoning or any of that kind of stuff. I hear people talking about going through zoning and city and that, and I just realize how lucky I am of being out in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, you know, and people not knowing where you're at and stuff. So anyway, so we decided, all right. That was in 1st of October. I got let go. 1st of October, I got let go. And it's like, all right, let's do that. So we went up to Darren's a couple times, saw what he was doing, kind of helped. I can't even say, if it wasn't for Darren, we wouldn't be here today. Okay. I mean, he helped us that much, and he still to this day. You know, I'll have some question or something, and I'll guarantee you 99.5% of the time, he's got an answer for it. And it's an answer that is good. The other one that's just as good as he is was Mike Mills. You know, Mike Mills, 17th Street Barbecue helped us out a lot too. And just the same way, very open with what he did, what he didn't do. You know, The thing I always kid about Mike was, you know, you always talk to these guys and nothing ever fails for them. You know, everything's as I say, well, I better not say everything's perfect, and nothing ever fails. But I always admired Mike for the fact that he would tell you when something would fail. You know,
Yeah.
I'd come up with some idea or something, and I'd go call up Mike and I'd say, hey, him and I used to talk about once a week. And if he didn't call me, I called him. And I would, you know, I'd say, what do you think about this, Mike? Well, I don't know. You might want to kind of think that, because back in 1998, we tried this, and he could tell you exactly what they did, and we lost our ass on it, you know. And that, you know, so that, and Darren's the same way. I mean, if something didn't go good, doesn't go good, he's not afraid to tell you it doesn't go good and why. But the thing of it is, with Darren, he's got an answer, and how he fixed it, you know. And that's the thing about him. So we started opening up the Twyford BBQ and catering. So we did our first catering in January of that year, of would have been 15, because we've been open 17 years now. And so that was our first catering. And we had a trailer made for us to do, to cook out of, because we didn't have any place. We couldn't cook anymore out of the house. You know, we were done with that, cooking out of the garage and stuff, because we were doing catering on the side, you know, for neighbors and friends, you know, hey, could you cook us 5 pounds of pork and stuff? And that's kind of what got us started. And so then we got going on that, and we bought a trailer, and it was a big son bitch. I mean, it custom made, had overhead fryers in it, flat tops, we put a CTO on the back of it. And I mean, we had a dually, and that's about all that dually wanted to do, to haul that thing around. But it didn't move that much. It was mainly parked out here in our driveway with a 50 amp power to it, and that's what we used to cook out of. And that's how we started, was cooking out of that trailer. Well, our business took off. And I don't know whether anybody's ever heard of a company called Dot Foods. They're the largest food redistributor in the United States, probably the world now. And they're out of a little town called Mount Sterling, Illinois. They're huge. They're huge. A big warehousing facility. Well, we got connected with them and started they had safety meals. And that's something you might want to check when you're talking to some of your customers or looking at prospects. Look at some of these big manufacturers and talk to them about doing safety meals. Because what they would do is, if a warehouse would go 30 days without an accident, then they'd feed them a meal. And it might start out as just pulled pork and potatoes and baked beans. And each month, if they went without having an accident, they would get, the meals would increase to the point where we were doing whole hog roasts and steak fries, cooking ribeyes and stuff for them. And if it wasn't for Dot, we wouldn't be here for today, because they were kind of what gave us our foothold and stuff. And we did tons of business with them. And then they started doing their own, they did away with the safety meals and that. And we lost that business, which in the meantime, we'd picked up enough others. So, but in the meantime, we had that trailer, and we didn't really know. And this was really kind of before food trucks were a thing, especially back here in the Midwest. There was a farmer's market in town, and got to talking to some people and said, why don't we take the trailer in there and sell food out of the trailer? What an idea, you know. So we started taking that trailer in there, which was just, I mean, it's kind of like you hooked onto the trailer and it shoved you where you wanted to go. It was that big and that heavy, because we had freezers in it, refrigerators in it. And so we started going to the farmer's market on Wednesday afternoons. And that was kind of the beginning of our food trucking business. And like I said, back then, food trucks weren't a thing. Probably were out in Cali, you know, out there, they were probably a big deal, you know, starting to be a big deal. But you got to remember, that was in the mid 2000s when all that was going on. So that become a really big part of our business. So we really started expanding on that at the same time, expanding on our catering. I went out and started making some calls, beating the bushes. Uh, you know, the worst thing somebody can tell you is no, we're not interested. And looked at different marketing ideas on how to get into the doorkeeper, the gatekeeper, the receptionist, get into her so she could, because about half the time she's the one that made the call on who they call for caterings.
Yeah.
So, and Jacksonville's a town of about 20,000 on a good day. And so we live out in the country about 8 miles east. So we're only about 20 miles from Springfield, the state capital. So we started expanding our business over into Springfield. Well, so the food truck business catering was going very well. So then I was going to write down how many different food trucks and trailers we've had. But we had the big trailer we started with. Then we had a small one that I bought from Darren, which was one of those ones that had the kitchen up in the front of it, and you put a cooker on the back of it. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, everybody, Daddy Dutch put the comment, when will we see Twyford BBQ on Triple D like DW?
Probably never. Yeah. I mean, because he goes some food trucks. I don't know. I shouldn't say never. We're friends with Guy.
Yeah. And Darren's still trying to sell you his food truck.
Oh, yeah. He's trying. No, he's not trying to sell it to me. He's trying to pawn it off on me. And he's trying to pawn it off on me. So we went through one of those trailers. And then we bought a trailer out in Kansas City, had it made for us, a fifth wheel, a gooseneck trailer with a generator on the front of it. We ran that one for a few years. Then we got, I bought a food truck out in California and had it shipped back here. So one of the old, I call them the roach coaches, the ones where the windows open on the sides and they've got the ice chests in the down below and stuff. So we had bought that. And then when the guy brought the trucker that brought it here, he made comment. He says, just so you know, there's no drugs on this truck. And I'm like, well, I would hope not. And he goes, he had got stopped like 5 times by the police going through different states and at different way stations. And they brought dogs on the truck because I guess that's the way at the time they were really shipping drugs around was on food trucks, heading them back east.
Wow.
And so we ran that. And so then we sold the trailer, and we had the truck, and it had some age on it, had some issues. And so then we had a truck built for us by Shantz Manufacturing down in Highland, Illinois. They're known for making carnival trailers. If you go to the carnivals and you see those trailers that have got the big facades on them, the lights and stuff above them, and that they make those trailers. And I know some of the people, there's a group of family out of Texas that runs those trailers, and they put thousands and thousands of miles on them, and they don't break up. And so we bought a Shantz trailer and sold I don't even know where the food truck. Oh, the food truck. The food truck, funny story on that one. I had it listed on usedvending.com, and that's where I've sold all my stuff through. And Darren's had it. I told him to list his truck on there, and he hasn't had a bite from there. Everything I've put on there lasted, not even 30 days. Mm-hmm. But the people that bought the food truck, the Used Vending called me and they said, okay, they've put money down on it, so they're flying into Chicago, meeting some people, and then they're going to drive down. They're from down around south side of Dallas in, I forget what the town was, but in the Dallas Metroplex. Okay. So they show up, and the lady that gets out of the car, very, very attractive. If you watch any of and not that I do, but some of the soap operas on the Spanish channels, the hot women on there.
Yes, sir.
That's what she was.
Okay. And
then she didn't speak a lick of English. She had another guy with her that didn't speak English. And then the guy that picked him up in Chicago he spoke English. And then I had a guy that worked for me at the time that spoke Spanish. So I was going that way. They showed up on a Saturday morning, and I told them, I said, if they want to buy it, I need cash. And I'm not taking any cashier's check or anything like that from somebody down in Texas. They came and they took it for a run and everything, and they said, we'll buy it. And I sold it to them for $40,000 in cash. Well, I had it set up with my bank. Before they left, the money had already been taken to the bank and went through to make sure there wasn't any counterfeit in it and stuff. And so they loaded up, and that was the wildest thing I'd ever seen. They loaded up and they drove it all the way back to Dallas. Until it's still today, I will get phone calls wanting to know when our food truck was going to be, where we're going to be set up in our food truck, Denton, Texas. And when I see a Texas call come up, I know what it's about. They never rewrapped it or anything. They were running to this Twyford BBQ all the time down in Texas. Yeah,
hey, free advertising.
Yeah, and that's one thing I learned is if you've got something that's wrapped and has your name and everything on it, in the contract, put something that they've got 45 days or 60 days that they got to get your name off of it.
Yeah.
So, because just to get it, that's just one little thing I've learned,
Yep. No, Dave, I think you're right. Spanish soap opera, Telemundo.
Yes,
I think that's the one. That's the one. That's the one.
That's exactly one.
So Daddy Dutch is beating me again to it. You mentioned your bank, and I was about to ask, but he beat me to it. Is that the First National Banks of Lawrenceville, where we are
swatting for your business?
There it is.
And I forget where I put my candy dish. I got a candy dish the other day. I went to the bank and I told them what I was doing. And so they gave me a bunch of junk. So we're going to have new stuff on every episode coming up. Last week we had a candy jar, so.
Yep.
Yes, it was with the First National Bank of Lawrenceville. And that was the nice part about it. They're a small town bank. So, I mean, when Marla and one of the girls hit the door with the cash, they had everything ready to go. We'd call them and say, we got cash, we're bringing her in. And they went, sorted through it and made sure that everything was legal tender, and it was a good deal. So then we got the Shantz trailer, and we that's what we're running now to this day is a Shantz trailer, 38, I think altogether with a truck and the box on the back of it. It's literally a carnival trailer set on a chassis, and it's got pins underneath it. So if we ever wanted to switch out the chassis, say the truck took the craps and we couldn't get it fixed, I take it down to Shantz, they lift it off of there, hook onto it, lift it up off the truck, and we slide another chassis, another truck underneath it.
Okay.
So
that's not bad.
No, not at all. But I ran over one thing about it. In the meantime, when we sold the big trailer, we built a building out here, built a shed out here, a pole building. And we put a walk-in freezer, walk-in cooler, our kitchen's all in it. We got a whole commercial kitchen and storage. And we've got 2 Old Hickory ELDXs that we run out of the shed out here, one on a trailer and one mounted inside the building. And so that's where we do all of our catering out of. And neighbor of ours, that good friend of mine, when we were building the shed, and he's got a lot of money. He's got some money. And so he comes down and he's always telling people what they ought to do. And a lot of people don't like him because of that. And I do. I just give him shit right back. And he goes, well, he says, the only thing and so we had it all marked off and everything. Well, he said, you need to add 12 more foot here and 12 more foot over there. You need to make it bigger. And I said, well, if I had your fucking money, I would do that. But, I don't have your money. And this is what we're going to, but sad part of it is he was right. I mean, we should have made, I could have used it bigger and stuff because we got stuff on top of each other in there, and dry storage and that. So, But we run all of our catering out of that, and it does a real good job for us. Handles
Nice.
the volume of business we're doing. Next weekend will be a challenge. Hopefully this weather will warm up a little bit. We've got 2 caterings on Saturday, both of them for about 300 people. So, and they're 2 different directions, and most everybody that works for me pretty well, not pretty well, I mean, is part-time, you know. I hire from a local college, Illinois College, and I hire football players from there, and they're good workers, and a lot of them have stayed on. And like, there's one kid that's working, one guy that's working for us now, Colin. He just got, he was, I mean, he set all sorts of NCAA records for Illinois College and stuff, and he got picked up a couple weeks ago by the Canadian Football League. So, so I'm happy for him, but at least I got him to May, because he said in May I'm going to Canada, you know. So that, you know, but I've already got 2 guys lined up for summer help, and probably get a 3rd one. The biggest thing is getting somebody that'll drive the truck, feel comfortable drive the truck. Everybody's intimidated by driving the truck because it's a, you know, a big truck. And but once you get them used to it, that, because that way that gets me out of having to be with go with them every time, you know.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
I'm still
doing something.
I can do the caterings and stuff like that we have going on, drop-offs and stuff during the week. But at the same time, I try to be with the truck as much as I can, because I'm a firm believer, not that I'm anything, but people like to see the owner there, especially in a small, in an area like this, they like to see the owner.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, you know, we are, what are we? What, 26? You know, we're about, you know, closing in at the end of January. And I know you had said that your, you know, your catering bookings for this year already are going very well for you.
Oh,
You know, you were saying you had a handful of weddings already on the books, and that was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've got, we only do 2 weddings a day, and that's not my call. That's my wife's call, because a few years ago, I booked 5 weddings in one day, and we fed over 3,500 people that day. And doing the food wasn't the problem, but doing the logistics of getting people dispersed, because we had to rent 3 trucks, little U-Haul box trucks for delivery, and we sent, you know, getting this one going that way, this one going that way, this one, all of them were, it was just like a covey of quail. They just all went different ways, you know. So after that, she set me down, and the girl that was working for us was my niece. And that next week, they set me down and said, we aren't doing that again. We're limiting you to only 2 weddings a day, and that's all we're going to do. And that's, I do have one, the second weekend in October, I do have 3 weddings booked that day already. And but one of them small and kind of going to be a semi drop off. That's the way I sold it, at least, you know. And but yeah, our catering is wedding catering has really taken off, and we've got 2 weekends in October that are already full, where we can't take any more. Another couple have got 1 booked already. So and we're just in January, and I'm still getting calls. You know, the next big day for wedding caterings or inquiries will be Valentine's Day, after Valentine's Day, because people will get engaged for Valentine's Day, and then they'll be looking. So latter part of March, 1st of April, we'll start getting a lot of calls for weddings and that for next fall. And then we've actually got a wedding booked for November of 27. You know, so it's like,
wow, all right,
yeah. So it's like, well, at least we'll have to stick around that long, you know.
Yeah. On your, you know, your catering menus, you know, do you have? I guess did the menu change often? I guess, you know, maybe with some of the, especially now, you know, we're dealing with a lot of you know, food costs. the prices from the distributors, like turkeys, for instance, have kind of jumped almost, I think, maybe $1.50 a pound.
Right. Right.
In some cases, is the menu pretty standard, or does it
Yes, it is.
change? Okay.
It is. It's pretty standard. We added a couple items to the menu last year, and I think we sold only one of those menu items through the year. We thought we'd do some kind of home style stuff, and uh, we did roast beef, pot roast dinner type deal, and then we've only sold one of them. People go back to the barbecue and stuff, and we do carry turkey on our line. And as far as food cost goes, yeah, I mean, I work pretty closely with we've got one main food supplier, and I know that's against what a lot of people think. Some people think you need to have 3 different suppliers and stuff, but I guess with our volume, which is not a lot compared to some of the other big ones, this one provider can get us what we want, and they keep it in a good price to them. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
I looked at our price, our costing and stuff what we paid this year as a compared, so going into 26 compared to what we paid in 25, and there was as many items that went up. There was more items that went down than went up. And so
Okay.
I left all of our pricing the same. And I looked, we've got some key items. We do a menu item called a cheesy potato. We call it Miss Marla's cheesy potatoes, but casserole. And I figured up last year, with the amount of potatoes that we bought, kind of backed it in. We did 8.5 ton of potato that item last year.
Wow.
8.5 ton.
Holy cow.
It's surprising. Our record, what we always had was about 6 ton, but I figured it up this last year about the amount of, because one box of 32 pounds makes 54 pounds of product. Mm-hmm. So we bought so many boxes and then multiplied them backwards, and we did a little over 8 ton. And to the point when a menu, I do all the bookings. I book all the menu, the caterings and the food truck and stuff. And I've got notes everywhere and try to keep myself organized on it. But I've learned to write it down and get it in the computer as soon as I can. Then that way I don't lose the paper or forget it. But if a catering goes out and doesn't have the potato casserole on it, I double check it.
Yeah.
Because and then the guys that are in the kitchen, like Colin, he'll do the same thing. If we have a menu, a catering come up, he'll ask me, do they not want potatoes? Are you sure they don't want potato casserole? Because it's such a staple on all of our menus and stuff. But our catering menu hasn't really changed. And we've been pretty successful at it. So, and we're going to keep the food truck menu. We're keeping the base of it same, but we're going to be adding a couple new items to it. We're going to add barbecue tacos, pork and chicken and brisket tacos to it. And then we're also going to add turkey clubs and turkey sandwiches. And I feel like the secret to that food truck is you've got your core proteins and your core items, mainly your core proteins on your truck, not putting any, because we're out of space. We just don't have any more space. And by taking and switching those around, just like the tacos, we're going to add pork, chicken, and brisket tacos. So the only thing we're going to have to bring on is tortillas and salsa, and a little garnish. And we've already got a flat top on there so we can cook the tortillas and stuff. But I mean, we have some people wanting us to go and do online ordering, and we just don't. We've tried it and it's a disaster. and in the food truck, and we just don't have the room to store stuff. And the other problem is, if you're going to do online ordering with a food truck, I firmly believe you got to have yourself an express window, someplace where people can come up, because otherwise they're going to be standing in line with the people all the people the same way, all the
Yes, sir.
rest of the people and that. And so I feel like, and we're not set up that way. So, somebody will call me and they say they got a big order, and depending on where we're at and stuff, I may take it, but we'll just write it down and stuff, and tell them, and I make sure, okay, what time are you going to pick it up? We're going to pick it up at 11:30. And I said, no, you're going to pick it up at 11:25, because I want them there early so we can get that in and out, and because then it's going to start getting cold on them, and they forget about when they show up at 12:15. They forgot about, they told you you're going to be there at 11:30 when it's cold.
Yep. And and Daddy Dutch is asking. Daddy Dutch just started his own catering company and food company just recently, within the past 6 months or so.
Okay.
So he's asking, Randy, our brisket pricing has dropped 20 cents per pound in the last month. Have you seen that in Illinois?
No, because I've got a place I get my briskets from, and they bring enough in that they lock in a price. I wouldn't take that 20 cents. I would consider that just extra money, because it's going to come back. I mean, beef prices are not going to soften up.
No.
They maybe got a little come down a little bit, that more cattle hit the market, because of the end of the year and stuff. But with how many cattle, the cow herds being so small or liquidated, I mean, as an example, we used to have cattle because we farm too. We used to have cattle, and everybody around here would have, 20, 30 cows and stuff. Those are all gone, and let alone the guys out on the West Coast, out west, when you've got old cows that, maybe we'd keep her around for another couple years and get some more calves out of her. But when you can get a couple thousand out of her, just taking her to the sale barn, you're going to do that. So cattle prices, I'm the farthest thing from a market trader and all that stuff, but just everything I've read, and Darren and I've talked about, and he's talked about to people, it's not going to get soft. Just consider the 20 cents. I would say it's a minor bump in the road, honestly.
Yep. No, absolutely. I'm going to rewind just a little bit here, because I was going to ask you about the cheesy potato casserole.
Oh,
you're bringing it up. You bring it up often on the podcast, and if I keep telling myself, if I ever find myself out in that area, I have to call and order a small one-person catering for half a tray of cheesy potato casserole.
We would do it for you.
What's the description of it? Because obviously it's a hot item, a very consistent selling item for you. What is the nooks and crannies of it?
Okay, I'll just tell you what's in it. It's potato cubes. We use potato cubes we get them from Lamb Western. You got potato cubes, mayonnaise, sour cream, cream of chicken soup, and butter, bacon, and cheese. Those are all the ingredients to it. And I think it's just kind of, it's a home style type meal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like down home cooking type, kind of the niche, I guess I'm trying to say. And that's what people like. And going with barbecue, it complements it just so well.
Very well, yeah. No, absolutely. Oh, excuse me. No, that's very interesting. All that information. Because you always have to watch, the fluctuations on prices of, and especially these days. Heck, I was at, me and Daddy Dutch were talking the other day, and we had both noticed the price of Walmart was charging for select briskets was almost $5 a pound.
Right.
It's like whoa. While around here I go to a restaurant depot, and
Right.
between choice and prime, it's it might be 5.10, 5.20 for choice, and
Right.
about 5.5 for prime. But to see that, $5 price tag on on the select, it's like, oh man, you know. I ain't gonna lie to you, I bought one. It's good to
Sure.
have. It's still good eating. I don't, but it's like,
Yeah.
man, it's like, but it goes in anyway. You're gonna catch a price high on this. You're gonna catch a price low on that,
Exactly.
and it all
Now,
evens out in the end.
well, and that's kind of with us. Pork is our number one mover. Our pulled pork is our number one mover of everything. Uh, I just got a report. If anybody out there used Toast, the POS system Toast, we talked about this on the Cue the Mic the other day. I got an email from them, and their AI system did an analyzation of our business for the last year, and which was really interesting. And you always hear people won't pay the high dollar price for stuff. Well, our number one seller was our Big Mac Daddy, which is our macaroni and our pulled pork with mac and cheese, which is our second highest item. And then our second highest thing was we call it the farm, which is our burn ends on potato casserole. That was our second place. And then our third one was a pulled pork plate, which is a pulled pork with their choice of two sides. But our number one seller overall is a pulled pork sandwich.
Yeah.
And or some fluctuation or some way. And I'm lucky enough, we're only about 20 minutes from a JBS hog processing plant, and they'll sell to me direct.
Okay.
So I'm pretty lucky in the fact that if you're buying from a wholesaler or something, you might be paying $1.40, $1.50 a pound for pork butts, and I'm paying usually it's about 60, 70 cents a pound. But I got to go pick them up. But still, it's their stuff. It made me think. It kind of got me thinking about it with those briskets. You never know what kind of deal Walmart's made with their provider and stuff, because JBS is their biggest customer is Costco, and every now and then I'll get meat down there, and it'll be in a Costco wrapper and stuff. And what happens is, say Costco will say, okay, I'm going to get so many trailer loads of pork butts. And then they decide they don't need them all. Something happens. And so they send them back, or they don't take them. And so then they go into the employee sales bins, and that's where I get out of that. So,
there you go.
Pork is our most profitable item all the way around too, because we're buying it right.
Yep. No, absolutely. Randy Salinas, what's up, brother? I was thinking about you the other day, man. I got to give you a call. I got to catch up. But thanks for tuning in, brother. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's always information. And like I said, I get a lot of my information from you through the Cue the Mic podcast that you,
Sure.
Darren, and Emma run. How did that come across of you joining the team on the podcast?
Darren asked me. Darren just asked me. He said, "Hey, you want to?"
Simple as that.
Yeah, you want to be on here? And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it with you." And so that's there wasn't any big schematics or analytics or anything that went into it. It's just like I knew he was doing the podcast, and I hate to tell him I'd never listened to it before. And he goes, "You want to be on the podcast with us?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And so it is what it is.
No, that's it. That's it. Like I had said, I've listened to literally every episode, and they had a handful on before you joined the team,
Right.
and when you joined the team, it's absolutely gold. Must listen to. So enjoy. Funny, comedic, informative, educational. you guys hit all the bases, and
Yeah,
obviously you can tell the relationship that you and Darren have of a
sure,
very
sure.
close knit, very dear friends,
Right.
of the bickering back and forth, the little subtle jabs, the
We've
the
done that for
subtle
years.
jokes that's just between you two, and then you get into, then Emma goes, "What do you mean by that?" And
And the
you'd
cans, the
explain it. Oh,
worms
we
open.
were at this, yeah, we were at this contest, and and this
Yeah,
happened and that happened, and then of course, you and Darren, being barbecue guys, kind of shock Emma a little bit from time to time, which is amusing.
right,
Which
right.
is amusing. And, because she's like, "Wait, what? Stop. No, I'm not listening."
What about
But
that?
all that goodness gave birth to the world famous hashtag, "Damn it, Randy."
Yeah, yeah. That's what.
Oh,
Sure.
for sure, for sure. Now, when you guys do that, um, you guys go early. If I'm catching it right, you guys record that like very early, early. I'm talking 5, 6 a.m. on like a Saturday or a Sunday. And I
A
know the
lot of
last
times,
month or so, Darren's been on location at
right.
contests.
Yeah, and we've started recording at like 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. We've recorded some at 4:30 and some at 5, but usually 4:30 to about 5 o'clock. And all of us are early risers, and it works good for
Yeah.
Darren, because he can be doing stuff. And we've had a lot of response. People like him cooking, seeing what some of the stuff he's doing, and he's very open with what he's doing and how he's doing it. So I mean, the competition cooks, if they're listening to that, it would probably scare you if they really listen to it. I had one guy tell me he listens to it twice
Mm-hmm.
because each time he listens to it, he picks up more things that he's done to his competition cooking that Darren talks about and is not afraid to tell people to do. And
Nope.
Darren says it's just barbecue.
That's it.
It's just
That's it.
barbecue.
I had Darren on. Oh, it's well over 2 years now. It was actually at the very beginning when he first started the podcast.
Okay.
And even on that, he was just dropping, "This is what I do. This is what I
Yeah.
use. Here you go." It was smoking guns hot, simmer on docks, and a
Yeah.
bottle of ketchup. I'm gonna kick
Yeah.
your ass on tenderness every time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly. Yeah.
he just doesn't care. He goes, "What is it? What am I gonna hold everything, tight knit?" Bottom line, you still have to cook it.
Yeah.
I'll give you everything. You still got to pull it off.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know, I cook a certain way. I have a certain touch to it. You might not have, so it's going to come out different. It's same recipe. It's just how I do it. Simple placement on the cooker.
Exactly.
I could have it a little further over here, a little bit more to the middle. And just going to get a different variance in it. But yeah, like I said, and I thank you guys for the podcast, because like I said,
Oh,
it is so
we love
informative.
doing it.
It's every first thing Monday morning when I get in the car at 6 a.m. Pewter mic goes on, and away I go, and that's how I start my week off, was with you guys every week. And I thank you guys, and please continue
We
uh,
plan on it.
bringing us the knowledge for sure.
You bet. You bet.
And you guys have fun doing it.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the other thing.
If we didn't have fun doing it, we wouldn't be doing it.
No, not at all. Not at all. Daddy Dutch, he's on the roll with the questions. Are you going to the FTO Expo in Austin in August?
No, I don't plan on it. August is a pretty busy month for us, and it's just going to be tough for me to get away. I pretty well. There's a few things that I'm going to that I knew I was going to go to this year, and when I got the dates on them, I was booking our blocked off dates probably back in November, October and November, and I've got those dates blocked out, and their blog says, "Yeah, damn it, Randy." uh, uh, I'd like to go to that down there in Austin. That is that fire and food deal.
I I believe so. Dutch, is that one? He'll be a second. We'll
Yeah.
get the answer in a minute here.
But I've booked this stuff because if I don't, I just won't get it in. I will book in stuff over it and that. So
Yep. You know, and
that's the way I've got. Thank
Dave
you
is
very
saying,
much.
you're extremely interesting and informative.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There it is. He'll
The
take
Food
notes
Truck
for you. It's a
Expo.
food truck expo.
No, I would love to go to that. I would love to go to it, but I know I won't. So when is that? In August, you say?
Yeah, Austin, Texas in August. Yes. I don't know the Dutch. Do you have the exact date? Because there's either 30 or 31 days you can pick out of the hat here.
Okay.
Whatever August has. I think it's 30. Might be 31. Either way. First week of August. There we
First
go.
week of August. I have to look at that. That would be fun to go to. What is it just different food trucks being there, or is it food truck suppliers, or I wonder what it is.
There you go, Dutch. Now we got you questions coming your way. Suppliers, equipment. What you got? What is it? Inside information here, Dutch. Hey, Ryan Newland, Backline Fabrication, brother. What's happening? Oh, suppliers, vendors, etc.
So
Yeah.
okay, that would sure be interesting to go to.
No, absolutely. Very interesting. Thank you for that information
Yeah,
there,
thank you,
Dutch.
Dutch. Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, Randy, I want to thank you, sir. You know, we're just over an hour. You've been so gracious with your time.
Oh, more
I've
than happy to.
enjoyed the conversation. And like I said, thank you for everything you do.
You bet.
I can't wait to somehow find myself out your way. Come and
Oh,
visit
love
you,
to have you.
meet you in hand, and
Yes.
give me some of that cheesy potato casserole for
We'll
sure.
hook you up, man. We'll hook you up.
Absolutely. And like I said, thank you for the podcast. Please give Darren my best. It's been we message here and there on different things, but it's been a while since him and I had chatted. But
Yep. I think I'll
yeah,
be talking to him tomorrow afternoon.
yeah, continue the great work with the podcast. Continued success with the catering company. Um, and yeah, just thank you so much for so
Well, thank
generous
you.
with
I
your time,
appreciate you
sir.
having me, Johnny. I appreciate
No,
you having me on.
my pleasure. My pleasure. We'll definitely do it again sometime down the road. Maybe we'll
Let
have
me know.
maybe we'll have the Cue the Mic crew.
No,
Episode. That could be fun.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hold on one second. Let me do my closeout, and I'm going to ask one favor from you. Is if you would be willing to do the official closeout of tonight's
Yeah,
episode in
sure.
true Randy form.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Randy, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. But like I said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in each and every week. I know it's probably a tough today for a lot of people with the weather and everything. Like I said, I'm looking out there, and yeah, the flakes are still coming down. So God knows what's out there now. But I hope everyone was able to stay safe with the frigid temperatures and the crazy weather that the entire country is going through right now. But like always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Catch the video live on Facebook and YouTube. On Facebook, hit that subscribe button and the notification. You have all the episodes right at your fingertips, especially now with Facebook deleting all the live videos after 30 days. So the library is no longer on with Facebook, but YouTube has every single one of them. And so you can have them all right there. Check the audio out wherever you find audio podcasts. Any questions, please send them to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you all so much. Next week, Mr. Alonzo Cantu. We had to reschedule Alonzo a few weeks back, but Alonzo will be joining us from Gulf Coast Smoke, talking about everything he's got going on with his business, seasoning sauces. Has a brand new glaze out. I believe it's a cherry pineapple
Ooh, that
glaze.
sounds good.
Yeah, and his social media presence, YouTube channel, all that stuff. So we'll catch up with Alonzo next week. But thank you all for tuning in. Until next week, keep the smoke rolling. And Randy, if you will do me the honors.
Boom, boom, boom. Done. Out of here. Finished. Adios.
Beautiful, Randy. Thank you.
You bet.
Catch you guys next week.